Hello and welcome to Yoga with Carolynne. My name is Carolynne. If it's your first time here, welcome. So lovely to have you here, and please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel if you're not already. If it is not your first time here, welcome back. Today's gentle yin yoga practice is one to help soften your energy. So put your comfy clothes on, roll out your yoga mat, grab a couple of blocks, and let's get started. Welcome to Yoga with Carolynne, teaching empaths and sensitive souls just like you how to create a collaborative relationship with your body through cozy, accessible yoga and self-care practices in order to live a life filled with less doing and more being. So as we practice this class together, as you take in the space of my backyard behind me, we are going to be using the element of earth to infuse the practice, the element of grounding, of coming to the ground, of softening to the ground. And the other thing I was kind of noticing is I was like, oh, there's a lot of dead stuff around me. We're just a few days after the autumn equinox here in Canada. And so we're going to be inviting that softening, letting go, releasing things dying type of energy into the class today. So you'll bring yourself into your comfortable seat. Whatever that looks like for you, you might want to place one of the blocks underneath of your sit bones, or maybe you're just seated cross-legged the way that I've got myself set up here. And you will please place your hands palm face down on your knees. Allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable. You can absolutely keep them open though if you'd like. I'm going to close mine though just because the sun is shining in my face. And you let yourself arrive. The next few breaths are an invitation to arrive. To let the shoulders soften, the face soften, the hips soften into the ground. As you let your awareness shift from that external focus to an internal awareness, you watch as your breath moves in and out of your body. Let the focus really be on the exhales, the end of the breath, the softening of the breath. And as a really gentle way of setting an intention for your practice today, I ask you the question, what are you hoping to soften in your practice today? Beautiful. Let's take an inhale as you are. As you exhale, you'll drop the chin down towards the chest. And on your next inhale, roll the left ear towards the left shoulder. And then take a second, just like an extra breath or two here, to kind of explore where you're going to want to hang out for a few breaths. Chin can be close to your shoulder. Chin can be a little bit up towards the sky. And then find that spot. And then open and close the mouth a few times to help soften the jaw. Allow both sit bones to feel grounded. You can stop that moving in the jaw. Let your right shoulder soften even more. And then you'll move into the right arm, so you will extend the right arms. That fingertips are reaching down towards the ground, and tent your fingertips. So feel the ground beneath the fingertips of the right hand. As you inhale, you feel this kind of pulling of the energy up from the ground. So up through your fingertips, up your arm, up the side of your neck to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, just soften all of that. Do that 3 more times, please. And once you've taken that third exhale, you'll bring the right hand so that it connects back to your knee. Drop the chin back down towards the chest. Take a moment just to realign in the spine, to re-soften in the shoulders, reconnect to the ground. And then rolling your right ear towards your right shoulder. And then take a moment or two here to just explore, move around, find where you're going to want to hang out. Once you've found that spot, open and close the jaw a few times, or open and close the mouth to soften the jaw. Then you'll bring that movement to stillness and you'll extend into the left arm again. So reach the fingertips down towards the ground, tent the fingertips on the floor. And then you kind of like press into the fingertips to create that extension. So you inhale, create that length, that extension, pulling that energy up from the ground. And then as you exhale, you let all of that go, let it soften. Do that 3 more times. Inhale to press into the fingertips, pulling energy up from the earth, up through your arm, the side of your neck, all the way to the crown of your head. And exhale, soften. 2 more times. And then releasing that, so pulling that left hand in, drop the chin back down towards the chest. Just because it feels nice to be really soft and kind with yourself, you'll use your hands to lift your head back up to center. So place one hand on your forehead and place one hand on the back of your head and bring yourself back into center. Just feels nice to be kind, right? Drop your hands down, extend into the legs. I'm going to turn towards the side, but you can stay exactly as you are. Extending the legs long. Just taking a moment here to enjoy this extending and then pointing and flexing here. We're really not going to be seated for very long. Just hoping to move through one hip opening, hip softening stretch, and then you're going to come down onto the ground. So you'll bring the hands behind you, palms connect to the floor, fingertips are pointing towards your hips, and then bring a bend into the legs. Place the soles of the feet onto the floor. And then walk your feet away from your hips, just like with one step to create a bit of space for you to find this position in your legs. You'll pick up into the right leg, place the flexed right ankle on your left knee. You might have to tip back just to get into that shape. And then press into the palms of your hands, extend into the arms so your heart slightly shines forward. We're not doing anything active and big here. Let the right knee fall away from your body. So you're not in towards the body, it's falling away from your body. And then the more you walk your legs in and the more you extend out of your spine, the more sensation you will feel in the right hip. Take a few deep breaths here. Let your gaze soften. Let your shoulders soften. We hold on a lot over the course of the day. We brace. We're always ready for something. Really offer yourself the gift of reminding yourself that it's all good. You can let go here. There's nothing to brace yourself from. Nothing to be ready for. And then you'll release out of that shape, extending into your legs again, releasing into the wrists. So you'll bring your hands together, create a fist in your hand, and just bring some movement into the wrists. moving, doesn't really matter what direction. I was going to say move in the right, move in the left, doesn't really matter. And then we'll come into that posture on the other side. So you'll bring the hands behind you. Again, palms of the hands are down on the floor with the fingertips pointing towards your hips. And then you bring that bend into the legs again. You've got space in between your thighs and your torso. You pick up into the left leg. Place the flexed left ankle on your right knee. And then it's the reason I say the more you bring your leg in is because there's no mandatory way that you need to practice this posture. So it's completely up to you as to what will feel really supportive, what will feel really good. If, I didn't mention this on the other side, but if you find that this is just really not comfortable to be hanging out onto your wrists, then you can walk your body a little bit more forward, and then maybe you bring your hands behind your legs. These modifications that I offer to you in these practices are really just from me experimenting, from me exploring in my own practice. So you have full permission, you have full reign to do the same thing. But I get that it's also helpful when somebody else offers you some suggestions. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Inhaling, creating space wherever you're feeling sensation. Exhale, softening, letting go, releasing whatever you don't need here. And once you've taken those 3 deep breaths, you'll release out of the posture, extend into the legs again. When you extend into the legs, they can be softer. You can have a little bit more of activity in the feet if you just want to enjoy a gentle stretch in the back line of your legs. And then you'll find that movement in the wrists again. And then you'll make your way onto your back. Make sure that you bring your blocks with you. Just have 2 more postures here to enjoy. Once you make your way onto the floor, onto your back, bring a bend to the legs. Allow the soles of the feet to connect to the floor and allow your knees to fall from right to left a couple of times. Getting the low back, the spine ready for a twist. You've got blocks on either side. If you know that they will be helpful to support your body in your twist, you also don't need to use the blocks. It's up to you. You'll open up into the arms, T-shape in the arms, palms up towards the sky, press into the feet, lift the hips up, slide them over towards the right. Bring your knees in, allow the knees to fall towards the left. Place that block in between your knees. The gaze can remain up towards the sky, or you can be looking towards the right. So this next option or variation of this posture is just that. It's just an option. You don't have to take it if it's not a tool that you want to use in your practice of softening your energy. I find though that using the hands can be a really helpful kind of like active way to really get into my practice and to play around with my intention that I set. So you come back to that intention of what is it that you're walking through your practice today hoping to soften. If the intention was to soften somewhere in your body, and placing the palm of your right hand onto that spot, if you can reach it. Maybe it's your hips, or maybe it's your shoulder, maybe it's your chest. And if you stepped onto your mat and your intention was to soften something that's less physical and more energetic, more emotional, maybe more mental, where would the placement of your right hand go if you were to pick a spot to coincide with that softening intention? And then as you breathe, you feel the breath being sent into the palm of your hand. And like your body and your hand and your breath are all working together to gently invite in that softening. And extend into the right arm. Grab hold of that block in between your knees and bring everything back into center. Once you come into the center, your hips come into center, let your knees just knock in towards each other if stillness would feel okay. Just take a few deep breaths here in the center. Get curious about what softening you do feel. And then we'll come into the other side. So your block is ready on the right side of your body. You press into the feet to lift the hips up, scooch them over towards the left, knees in towards your body, and knees fall towards the right. You can grab that block and place it in between your knees. Gaze up or gaze looking towards the left hand. And then the same invitation is there. So find a spot where you like to place the left hand if you want. It's not mandatory. It's not the only way that you can invite in that energy of softening. It's just one way. And once you've found that spot, you enjoy the few minutes that you're offering yourself here within this posture to let the time, the breath, and your body work together to soften. Using your right hand, you'll grab hold of that block. Remove the block out from in between your knees if you were using it, and bring your body back into center. And let your low back land onto the floor. There might be some movement that your body is calling for here. Honor that. We'll just find one last shape here. You grab hold of your blocks and place the soles of the feet together. Open the knees wide and place the blocks underneath of your knees. Place your hands palm face down on your low belly. And for the next minute, let yourself get wrapped up by the sensations and the experience of the exhales. What is there to be found in the energy of your exhales? Your exhales is softening into now. Are your exhales an invitation to soften expectations? To soften control? Or to soften the armor that you wear? What are your exhales inviting in and inviting out? Let's take one last exhale together in this posture. Inhale, feel your hands rise. Out the mouth, let it go. Slide the hands under your thighs. Bring your knees in towards each other. You can bring the knees in towards the chest as you rock from side to side, massaging into your low back. And transitioning from being on your back into seated. Your hands come into heart center. And you take this very last moment of your practice to notice what softening has happened inside and around you. If you don't notice a lot of softening, the beautiful thing about this practice is that it's not about the outcome. It's about the experience that you moved through and the time that you spent on your mat. It's really why we show up. So whatever it is that you notice, let it be exactly as it is, because it's perfect, it's yours. And then we'll end with one last breath. Inhale, please. Out the mouth, let it go. Softly opening up into the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me in this Soften Your Energy practice outside. If you enjoyed this practice, then I would strongly encourage you to check out the link in the description box below so that you can join in the Soften class that I offer, the live stream class that happens on Thursdays. Also, liking and commenting on the videos is the best way to help show your support in a space where I offer free, cozy, and accessible yoga practices. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.